I spent 2 years inside the Jewish community and uncovered a whole bunch of garbage there. Um, uh, uh, and I had made a whole bunch of discoveries, but I had gotten really lazy about publishing them. I was just thinking, well, I'll do it next year, I'll do it next year, I'll do it next year. And then Fukushima happened. And when those reactors exploded, I knew, because of my technical background, that there was no way that that could happen. So I began to look into the Fukushima issue. And if you go on my website, and the page that I've linked to is just jimstonefreelance.com, but if you go /Fukushima1.html, my investigation of Fukushima is on that page. I got my hands on all the classified information. I interviewed the reactor engineers that actually designed and built Fukushima. I did an in-depth investigation into the earthquake and the realities of that. And it ended up being an absolutely massive report that took 500 hours. But if you go there, you're going to see, first of all, Japan never had a 9.0. And that's pretty well proven by the fact that that no buildings collapsed in Sendai. If you look at all the tsunami videos, that tsunami is ripping through cities that are completely unscathed by an earthquake.
Okay. So let me ask you: if it didn't have an earthquake, what's your position? What did it?
Well, obviously, I don't know if any of your readers have ever heard of Joe Vials. I have a link to one of his articles that he did on Indonesia and that tsunami there, which was originally reported as a 6.3 earthquake. Then it got bumped to like an 8. Then it got bumped to a 9.1 for tsunami effects. Well, it turns out that when you have a Richter scale, your seismogram, those can be off by percent. They can't be off by orders of magnitude, and they can't be off by 3 orders of magnitude. So it's impossible to get a reading off of a seismogram that, you can't get a 9.0 reading off of the seismogram for an earthquake that was a 6.3. Well, India got onto this and studied the seismograms, and they determined that it was a nuclear weapon that set it off, and they also captured the EMP signature of that nuclear detonation, which happened off the coast of Indonesia. And if you read the Joe Vials report, that's not my report. You go into it, you'll find out that something was really fishy there. And so what we have now with Fukushima and nuclear weapons being set off in the ocean there is a new form of terrorism. We had, I'm sure that your listeners are well aware of false flag terror in the name of Arabs, in the name of whatever country they want the false flag terror to be blamed on. People got way too familiar with this. And they were looking, right immediately, internet investigations that go underway, saying, well, who really caused this? We know that was a false flag. So the next method of the elite then was to cause these terror attacks and get the job done in the name of the environment. And
okay, and I agree with you. Actually, I have whistleblower testimony that told me that there was a nuke planted actually underneath Fukushima. That's what I was told.
I got it. I got the company that planted it. I got the reason they planted it. I got everything. It's all in the.
Okay, and what about Stuxnet? Because does Stuxnet and the I guess the Israelis factor into this? Isn't that right?
Yes. Israel wrote a virus called Stuxnet, and this virus was specifically designed to go in and attack industrial control systems. And what it does is it makes everything go haywire on the machinery while keeping all the readouts that the operators can see normal. And the machinery can go totally haywire. Stuxnet will go into a system and learn what normal looks like.
Yeah.
So it sits there in idle mode for months or however long they want it to learn this system. In the case of Fukushima, Stuxnet was planted in that system for about 4 months. they had learned that when the operators pull the control rods out, that the temperatures are going to drop at this rate in this way, that when they put them in, it's going to rise in this way, the pressures are going to rise, the turbines are going to speed up, or not speed up, but put out X amount of current. So Stuxnet sat there and learned everything that the operators at that facility did over a 4-month period. The company that planted it was called Magna BSP. I mean, I have them nailed. I got a picture of the nuclear weapon that they planted in the facility. What they did was they sat there in Israel. They triggered this tsunami, and they sat there in Israel waiting for the tsunami to hit. The reactors did automatically scram right when the earthquake hit, because it's like these nuclear facilities are set up to be inherently safe. So if anything like seismically happens or anything electrically happens, the reactors automatically go into standby mode. And this happened at Fukushima. Well, what happened about 40 minutes after, when the tsunami hit, is they shut off the generators. They managed to get a remote internet link into the reactor room, and this is reported in the Jerusalem Post. This company, Magna BSP, which had its unrealistically huge nuke camera inside the Fukushima facility, also got an internet connection to that camera and to the guts of that facility that was in place all the way through the disaster. And they used, either Stuxnet ran an automatic mode until everything blew up, or they administered Stuxnet until everything blew up. But anyway.
So what happened exactly? Because you were kind of giving a blow by blow, and then you stopped. What happened when the tsunami hit? What exactly happened inside the reactor? You're saying it had already gone offline or whatever in standby, as you say.
Yes.
But then what happened when the tsunami hit? Where was the nuke? Was the nuke before or after the tsunami?
If you go to the links page, let's see here. I have that. If you go to the Fukushima page, it's because I understand that better.
I'm on your site.
So it's gemstonefreelance.com/Fukushima.html.
Right.
So I mean Fukushima1.html. Fukushima.html is Japanese. That's no fun.
Okay, but what are you saying? Are you saying, I'm just asking you, can you just tell me what, for the listeners' purposes, the ones especially listening without, internet access at this time, can you explain, did the nuke hit before or after the tsunami?
Oh, this is way after the tsunami. It took them a long time to get reactor 3 to act up in a way that was convincing. The camera was specifically designed to give them radiation readings and temperature readings off the reactor. So they knew when enough mayhem had broken loose to provide plausibility for an explosion, and they set it off. If you look at it says, this is a massive and technical report. If you have troubles understanding it, just look at this classified picture of the vanished reactor. You click on the vanished reactor link, and it'll pull up a diagram, or a little bit of a diagram of the guts of Fukushima and how it's put together. I've got an arrow pointing to where they had the nuclear weapon placed. If you scroll down to the bottom of this picture, you will see an actual photograph of the actual nuke they got into Fukushima. It's right down at the bottom of that picture. And it was disguised as a stereoscopic camera. I have 2 diagrams of gun-type nuclear weapons up against this thing that they got in there. It's obviously a match. And I had made a whole bunch of discoveries, but I had gotten really lazy about publishing them. I was just thinking, well, I'll do it next year, I'll do it next year, I'll do it next year. And then Fukushima happened. And when those reactors exploded, I knew, because of my technical background, that there was no way that could happen. So I began to look into the Fukushima issue.